Welcome back. I'm Taylor Lee. I'm the lifestyle coordinator here at Overture Buckhead South, and this is
Zachary Mitchell-Norman. I'm the intern here.
And this is the second video of our solving a cold case for H. Ashcroft. So if you missed part one, you might want to go back and look because there was so much information. There's no real way that we could give you all the stuff you're going to need to help us solve this crime. But for everybody that has been following along, welcome back. And so we left off, we were about to start going through each of the suspects' informational sheets or packets to give you a little update, just as a little refresher. Remember, this is a cold case for H. Ashcroft. She was found in an alley after being killed. She sustained blunt force trauma to her head, and she was found in the alley, I believe, behind the restaurant that she and her family and her fiance were at, and they were celebrating her marriage. I think they were at a rehearsal dinner.
Yeah. So
that's just a little refresh, quick recap of let's get started on opening up these people's files. So the first one that we have right here is Christian Peterson, the fiance, who we were wondering why isn't there a photo of him.
Finally found him.
Yeah, we did. What happened to the lighting? The person of interest, like police report. So name Peterson Christian, middle name is Corey. For some reason, okay, yeah, no, he doesn't have an alias, which is good. Keeps us from having to remember any more names. Marital status is actually scribbled out.
Yeah, we were talking about that last time.
Yeah, we were.
That was kind of weird.
I was trying to see if I could read under the scribble to see if perhaps I could read what he was trying to write. I couldn't. Birth, 1/28/1970, age 28. I don't think that, oh, right, because this case took place in 1998. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Because I was about to say, I don't think he's 28. Yeah. He was 28 at the time this report was done. He is male. His race and ethnicity is white. Height, 6 foot. His weight is 180 pounds. Hair brown, eyes blue. Shoe size 10. Dominant hand left. Place of birth, Chicago. Scars, marks, tattoos, none. Prior military experience, none. Martial arts, no. He does not own a firearm. Prior arrest, none. Prior felonies, none. Outstanding warrants, none. Currently under investigation, it says no. Employer, Alfie's Realty. Length of employment, 2.5 years. Occupation, real estate broker. And for his cars, a 97 Audi, model A4, color silver, and then a 96 Land Rover Discovery, white, 83 B7365. And I'll show you that. And likely when we go through the next ones, I will just give you a quick rundown instead of reading everything and then show you the paper. So that way we don't take so long. I remember that it said that she was found at 9:30.
Because this picture is taken at 9:48.
Yeah, I remember that. Because remember, I was like, man, that was a quick little time frame.
Yeah, because he left to go get presents from
at
the
house.
Yeah. And also a quick little reminder too. So our first objective is to prove Bones innocent, which is
who was
the prime
convicted.
suspect. Yeah, who was convicted.
But somehow, decades later, they're like, oh, no, wrong guy.
Yeah, so that's our main objective for today.
All right, so going back to the fiance, Peterson, where he was given his statement, and it says, Harmony and I went to the parking lot to check the Land Rover for my parents' presents, but they weren't there, so I drove home to get the presents and left Harmony in the parking lot to return to the party. She was 50 feet away from the door when I left. Police apprehended me at my home when I was picking up the presents. And then it looks like there's some smudge marks, like watermarks, right here. Mm-hmm. And I bet that's to make us believe that he was crying. I don't know if I buy it.
Crocodile tears.
So, individuals who confirm your whereabouts at the date and time of the incident. So, Jenny Rogers, who apparently is like a friend. Her phone number is 555-2743, and her address is 56 Ripplerbrook Lane, Riverdale 43286. She corroborated his statement that that is exactly what happened, supposedly. And then you have the police signature, and at the bottom just kind of confirming that this was a police report. Yeah. And it's official. The witness statement form from Jenny Rogers. Who was born 1/28/1971. All right. I make the below statement voluntarily. This account is true to the best of my knowledge and belief and represents my observation in the case currently under investigation. I understand that making false statements or reports present to a police investigator or police investigation is a criminal offense under MCL 750.411A. So basically that's just the way of saying that she understands that she's giving this, nobody's forcing her to make this corroborative statement. Mm-hmm. All right, so the narrative. Harmony has been my friend since college. We have always been very close, and that's why her murder is such a devastating event in my life. I was there on the night that Harmony and Christian first met. Harmony and I were at a nightclub, enjoying a rare night on the town. We were both in grad school, working pretty hard, so it felt good to get out and spend an evening doing something other than writing papers. But it was a typical night at a club, or at a nightclub. Guys were difficult to deal with that night with all the corny jokes and come-ons. Then along came Christian. He walked up to Harmony, took a seat, and smiled. After a few seconds, he said, "How do you like me so far?" We all burst out laughing. It was like he somehow knew how rough the night had been, and he was determined to rescue Harmony from it. And that's what Christian was to her, an escape from ordinary guys. He was exciting to her. And of course, he had her wrapped around his finger. The engagement party started off lots of fun. Until the argument. Dun dun dun!
So, just a little food for thought.
There's more on the back, though.
Oh, there's a lot more on the back.
But give me your food for thought while I show them the statement really quick.
I think Jenny Rogers is an interesting friend. I know that I think they said they were friends in college. Were they friends previous to college, too? I don't remember.
No.
No, okay.
They weren't.
So they're just friends in college.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means...
They've basically only known each other for about a rough estimate of 4 years.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that's a time frame to where you can't build a solid friendship or like have a best friend, but I find it kind of suspicious how Jenny... I'm not saying Jenny's fighting for Chris, but she was there the night that they met. Mm-hmm. And so it's very easy for her to become jealous if she liked Chris initially when they first interacted. So we need to keep an eye on Jenny, in my opinion.
All right, there were supposed to be presents for Christian's parents, but I guess there was confusion over who had to bring them. Harmony was certain that she left them in the car, but Christian thought she left them at home. They weren't screaming, but they started getting snippy with each other in front of everybody, and it was kind of awkward. I think maybe the pressure of the wedding was getting to them. Getting married isn't easy. Christian had a look on his face that was kind of intense. His jaw was clenched, and his eyes were red with anger. Anyways, they left the party together to see if the presents were in the car. You got the feeling that the argument probably continued outside as they left. When they left, you could hear a pin drop. Then her sister told a joke like, "I can see Harmony inherited her memory from Mom. This lightened the mood up a little, and people got back to normal until the busboy came running in saying Harmony was hurt in the parking lot, and we all rushed out at once. My initial reaction was absolute shock. Harmony's brother is in med school and started trying to do CPR or something, but we could see she was already dead. I'm still in shock. We told police Christian killed her, but nobody actually saw that happen, so it could have been someone else. Harmony's told me about a few weird guys at work, a stalker and some deadbeat dad. You should check them out. Talk to her office manager, Cheryl. I don't even know what to think right now. Well, I want to know why you'd automatically run out there and be like, oh, Chris must have killed her.
Had to been Chris.
Like, that's a pretty far jump. I mean, as far as we are aware, he was the last person to see her alive. And that's as far as we're aware with the information we're given. Yeah. But this was like, basically everybody was saying as soon as they went out there and the police showed up, like, oh, he did it.
Yeah, it has to be him.
Not saying that it wasn't. Just saying that's a pretty big leap to make. Yeah. Here's... full recorded interview. Christian Corey Peterson. Date 5/08/1998. Time 23:58. Then gives location. Conducted by, transcribed by, and then it starts the beginning of the interview. And I'll show this to you.
Okay, right. I'll be Christian Peterson. So this is a dialogue between Christian Peterson and a detective at the police station. And
the detective was Jack Stason. Please state your name for the record.
Christian Corey Peterson.
How did you know Harmony Ashcroft, Christian?
She's my fiance. We're supposed to get married tomorrow morning.
I know that this is difficult, but can you tell me about where you were when you learned about Harmony's death?
I was in my house when the police came storming through the front door. There must have been 20 of them. I didn't really know what the heck was happening, to be honest. I thought it was some kind of joke until one of them tackled me and slammed my face against the floor. They thought I killed her. It wasn't me. Obviously, it wasn't me. What other leads do you have? I know 2 or 3 people you need to talk to.
Let's back up a little to the argument. Do I need to remind you?
Yes, Harmony and I had a little disagreement over what happened to the presents for my parents.
Was this a common thing, the two of you getting into fights?
I wouldn't call it a fight. It was just a disagreement, that's all.
You didn't answer the question. Was this a common thing?
No, and I don't think...
You don't have issue with your temper?
No, I don't.
You ever hit Harmony?
Never.
For a guy with no anger issues, you seem pretty hot under the collar.
My fiance is dead. I was supposed to get married tomorrow, and now I'm sitting in this box with you. Why are you questioning me? We're wasting time. You think I'd just get in an argument with her in front of both of our families and then take her back and kill her?
So who did?
Ratliff, the guy at the clinic. He'd been stalking her. Why are you not grilling at him like this?
Interesting.
Or maybe that psycho Navy guy who lost his kid. I don't know his name, but he blames Harmony for losing custody over his kid. He was a deadbeat, but I told her not to testify it. It was too risky, but she didn't care.
Have you ever met either of these guys?
No, but Harmony painted a pretty good picture for me. She talked about how the one guy was stalking her, calling the clinic, coming down, making threats. And the other guy with the son, he's a psychopath, has PTSD or something probably. I can't believe I did that.
I'm sorry?
I should have done more to protect her. I knew that guy was stalking her, but we just thought after a while he'll run out of energy. I should have done more. I should have never let her stay there on her own like that, especially knowing some creep was after her. I swear she was like 50 feet from the door when I left. Were there footprints? Do you know where the killer came from?
How would you describe your relationship to the victim?
Excuse me?
Would you describe it as healthy? Were you both happy?
She was my everything.
What I'm asking is...
She was everything.
So, there was no abuse? No control issues?
Abuse? Are you listening to me? Are you crazy? I wouldn't hurt her for anything. As for control, I just wanted Harmony to be Harmony. That's all. I didn't need to control her. She can't be controlled. I just wanted her to be who she was forever. I want us to grow old together. Till death do we part.
Till what?
Till death do we part. It's just a stupid thing we say to each other about the wedding tomorrow, but now...
That will be all, Christian. We will be in touch. If there's anything else you can think of that will help us, don't keep it to yourself, okay?
Okay. And scene.
I think you did a better job of acting. There's
good.
the back of it,
Yeah, you
too.
did good. You were good interrogator.
So, pretty strong on his part, I will say that. Like, good job for him. Again, Christian. I don't know. I'm with you. Something about the friend. to
Yeah,
me.
something about the
And
friend.
and
I
it
don't
might
really
not.
like.
And it could be. Let's go with your theory that she did like him and she was kind of jealous of the fact that Harmony was dating him and then getting married to him. What if she tried to frame him?
Yeah, that could definitely be a possibility.
Especially if she tried to like maybe put the moves on him or something before or even after the engagement. He rejected her. Obviously, the feeling of rejection was too much. Like that ultimately solidified that there was no hope for her getting it in with him anyway.
I don't think he would have brought it up to Harmony either.
Oh no. Especially because if that's the like what we're assuming is the best friend in this situation, generally speaking,
you don't want to ruin.
You're probably not gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
Especially if it was like a one-off weird thing.
Yeah. But I'm also curious about who Christian said to investigate more.
So the next person that was in here is who was actually arrested for the crime, and it's Bones. That is a picture and a half. It looks like he was in the middle of talking, be like, I didn't do it.
Boom.
All right, so person of interest, McBride William, aka Bones. He was transient, so for home address it says in transition. No phone number, no driver's license, marital status is single, date of birth 8/26/73, so he's 24, male, black, 6'2", 170 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, shoe size 12, dominant hand also left, scars, markings, tattoos, none, prior military experience, none, martial arts, plenty of street fights. Do you own a rifle? He does not. Prior arrest, too many to list, nothing violent. So obviously things like petty thefts or crimes, nothing worth mentioning in this specific case. Prior felonies, several theft convictions. Outstanding warrants, none that I know of. Wow, way to do your job. Person filling this out. Currently under investigation, it's listed as no, which is interesting to me. Employer, between jobs right now. He does not own a car. In the space below, describe your whereabouts on the date and time of the incident. So date 5/8/1998, time of incident 9:30 p.m. He says, I was at Rambo's bar until right after 9 p.m. From there, I went to Grant Park to get some rest and fell asleep. The next thing I remember is being surrounded by 20 officers shining lights in my eyes. Someone put a ring in my hand while I was sleeping, or one of the police put it on me. Remember, he was found with her ring on his person, and that was like the only quote evidence that they really had. And the individuals who can confirm his whereabouts were Willie Bryson, who is a bouncer. They don't know his phone number and home address. For some reason, it's listed as bouncer at Rambo's Bar. Oh, it is Wally. Did I say Willie?
Yeah, it's wow. AKA Big Dog. You probably can't see it, but.
And here is this, if you would like to pause it to take a better look. A lot less information to read. All right, so the witness statement form 50898. Name Officer Kent Grayson. Address has been redacted. Date of birth 20462. And then it gives the telephone number. So I'm assuming that that's the officer. So this is
The witness statement form.
yeah, but is this for the officer? A witness statement form for the officer? Yeah. So why are they asking a cop to corroborate when the corroborator listed was the bouncer? I don't know. Anyways, the narrative from Officer Kent Grayson. The suspect was an individual we've had many prior encounters with. His name is William McBride. He is known as Bones. McBride had been spotted many times sleeping in Grant Park or in various public places around town. His priors consisted mainly of public drinking and disturbing the peace. It was 10 o'clock when I approached the suspect with the intention of waking him up and telling him to move along, but when I saw something unusual in his hand, I immediately contacted my captain at the station. He told to me place the suspect under arrest for murder while he called for backup. We had been aware that a murder had taken place that night and that a suspect was at large. By the time Mr. McBride had woken up, the backup had arrived. He seemed quite disoriented. He was then told that he was under arrest for the murder of Harmony Ashcroft. At this time, the suspect became belligerent and uncooperative. He repeatedly screamed that he was innocent and he didn't know where the ring came from. Okay, so for starters, I think I'm putting way too much stock in this game. Like, I want to go back to Christian for a minute because he said that they thought he killed her.
Yeah.
And, like, he was being pushed around and, like, I don't want to say beaten up, but, like, roughly handled by these cops.
Right.
When in the statements, it didn't say anything about how he was trying to resist arrest or acting belligerent or any of that. Like, he wasn't resisting, so I don't know why they were pushing him around. And in this one, it's almost like it was made a point that he was acting belligerent and uncooperative and all that stuff. But I mean, I guess I can understand him reacting that way, but it doesn't seem like they were being forceful with him when trying to arrest him.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe.
But I think the reason why they handled Christian that way was because he was the very last person to see Harmony.
I don't know.
And I don't know. I have no clue.
Also, how did he see a ring in this guy's hand? Here's this again, if I did or did not already show it.
And there's no back to that one, thankfully.
Okay, we had another statement underneath the record estimate form.
Oh, that's for the bouncer.
Yeah, we're still gonna read it now. Because this answered my question of why they didn't ask for the witness statement of who Bones listed. This is Wally Bryson, or AKA
Beat Dog. Big Dog.
Big Dog. And he was born 9/10/1948. I confirm William Bones McBride was removed from my bar at 9 p.m. on May 8th, 1998. This is a man I have seen on a number of occasions at my place of employment, Rambo's Bar. Bones is a regular customer there. I would describe him as a nice guy. He is well liked by the staff and the other patrons. On a few occasions, we've had to warn him not to panhandle in front of the bar, but apart from that, he's usually fine. He has even charmed his way into a few free beers. That's the kind of guy he is. I remember seeing him last night on the 8th. It was a Friday, and he came in, smiling as usual. But I also remember an argument that took place right at 9 p.m., the end of happy hour. Bones missed the last call for free happy hour drinks and was upset because he was broke and he was yelling at the bartender for ignoring him. The bartender signaled for me to escort him out, so I did. By then, things had calmed down and Bones was on his way out. Ready to leave on his own, he said something like, "I'll just go get me some money and be back in an hour." As Bones left me and JT, the bartender, looked at each and smiled. We expected him to go out to the front of the bar and panhandle like he had done in the past. But he didn't. He walked out the door and kept walking. I figured he had some other way of finding some money. I haven't seen him since. Alright, so he's a pretty well-liked guy.
Yeah, but I find it interesting too how the cop, Kent Grayson, approached him at 10 o'clock.
Arrested her fiance at 10.
Okay.
Because remember, like I said, the murder are being told took place at 9:30.
Yeah.
Then the pictures were starting to be taken at like 9:38.
Yeah, okay. No, that checks out then. Never mind.
Man, fastest police response if I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Or we are going to read the full recorded interview with William McBride, aka Bones. The date is 5/9/1998. The time is 2:16. Conducted by Detective Jack Stason. Transcribed by Janice Dowling. So, do you want to be William McBride?
Yep, I'll be William McBride, aka Bones. She will be the detective.
All right. Please state your name for the record.
William McBride, go by Bones.
Bones. Looks like you've got some explaining to do.
Look, I know it looks crazy, me with that dang ring in my hand, but you gotta believe me, I never seen that thing before in my...
Well, get to the ring. Let's start with what you were doing sleeping in the park. How did you wind up there?
Well, I was at Rambo's, and let's just say that didn't work out for me. I was escorted out, and I needed a place to sleep. The bench on Grant Park ain't exactly 4-star accommodations, but I'll do.
What happened at Rambo's?
I missed the last call for happy hour, so that put a dent in my plans. I go to JT, the bartender, hell of a good guy. Usually I'm like, come on, cut me some slack, please. I've been trying to get your attention for the last 10 minutes. As many times as I've been there, he still doesn't budge. He calls the bouncer on me, and I'm like, okay, I'll just see if I can scrap something together, a little money, come back and finish the night off with a few more drinks. But I didn't make it. I started walking around and realized I messed up. So I just headed to Grant Park and I laid down to get some rest.
Do you remember what time this happened?
I don't know, 9, maybe 9:15.
Then?
Next thing you know, I'm getting a wake-up call from Riverdale's finest. I guess I had a ring in my hand. I remember it being there, but I swear to you, I don't know how it got there. You need to investigate that officer. It must have been him.
Is that a common thing for you? Waking up with items in your possession without having any idea how they got there?
Let's just say my drinking is a common thing. But killing somebody? Like that lady? That's not my style. Please, you gotta believe me. Look, I've been in the joint before. If you lock me up for killing that pretty lady, I won't last more than a week in there.
Is it possible that you stole that ring?
You mean from that lady? Look, I told you, I'm no Boy Scout, but violence isn't my thing.
I'll level with you, Bones. It doesn't look good for you. You were kicked out of the bar at 9. At 10, the police picked you up with her ring in your hand. That's plenty of time to leave the bar, walk over to Tooley's, rob this girl, and take the ring.
I wouldn't do that.
Look, I know you didn't mean to kill her. What happened? You get into a little scuffle and there was an accident?
No, not at all. That's all a lie. I've never met that girl in my life, and that's the honest truth.
As soon as you start telling me the truth, that's when things are going to get better for you. It was an accident. I get it. Work with us, and we can get this down to involuntary manslaughter. You'll be out in 18 months with good behavior, but only if you cooperate with us right now. You're looking at life behind bars, McBride.
It wasn't me, period. Look, do I get a lawyer or something?
Your lawyer's not here yet.
I suppose I shouldn't talk until they get here.
You don't have to talk at all if you don't want.
Okay, look, I told you. I don't know how the ring got there. You believe me, right?
Bones, you seem like a charming guy. And I know you've gotten used to charming change out of the good folks here in Riverdale. But this is a pretty rough bind you're in, and you're gonna need more than a little charm to get out of it. I'm sure we'll have more questions for you later. We'll be in touch.
Scene.
So the next person is Rex Ratliff.
That's the guy
Bam.
that's got the clinic, right?
Of interest. I also find it weird that they keep saying that these people are not under investigation when they clearly have been listed as being investigated.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Ratliff Rex. Date of birth 3/14/1973. He's 25, male, Caucasian, 5'9", 225 pounds. His hair is brown with blue eyes. Those do not look like blue eyes to me. Shoe size is 9. He is also left-handed. What is up with all these left-handed people? His place of birth is Riverdale. No identifying markings, no prior military experience, no martial arts or combat experience, no firearms, no prior arrests, no felonies, no outstanding warrants, and not currently under investigation. I guess the Gold's Gym, and he's been there for 5 years. He's the janitor, so this must be the stalker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to guess. His car is an '86 Chevrolet.
Well, the reason why I was saying was because is that a white Chevy to you?
That is definitely a white car. I don't know about Chevy. White.
Yeah, I'm talking about this picture right here. That car.
I think it's gonna be one. His individual statement is, I was at home the whole time. I got home from work around 9 p.m. and stayed in my apartment all night.
You can't see the license plate from here.
Of course you can't.
Yeah, I thought I had good vision.
And his corroborator is Miss McCoy, who is his landlord. This is a statement from somebody that worked where Harmony worked. Name Cheryl Pratt. Has a migraine or she's very upset. I don't know. Date of birth is 2/04/42. The narrative says, I have had contact with Rex Ratliff in my job as office, maybe she means office manager, I don't know.
Yeah.
Office manager of Helping Hands Mental Health Clinic. Continuing past the first sentence. I can vividly remember his face and that look on his face. I began by telling me a few basic things about his mental health state. He mentioned that he was feeling depressed and lonely, but he seemed uncomfortable about sharing more specific details. He mentioned that he needed to see Harmony. At this time, I told him that Harmony was a child psychologist and that he was free to set up an appointment with Dr. Breeson, the other psychologist in our clinic. He immediately became irate. I then tried to work with him on a few other options. I mentioned that I could possibly refer him to another clinic, but once again, this made him upset. He told me that it was important that he see Harmony before it was too late. I then asked what he meant by that, and he hung up. Oof. And of course, there's a lot more on the back. Approximately 30 minutes later, he showed up at the clinic, not a smart move, although he did not immediately identify himself. I knew it was him. At this time, he angrily approached the desk, demanding to see Harmony. He was now becoming loud and disruptive. Dr. Breeson came out of his office saying, "Is this man causing a problem?" Once Dr. Breeson approached, Mr. Ratliff seemed to calm down a little, so I said, no, everything is fine. At this point in time, Mr. Ratliff no longer seemed to be a threat. Mr. Ratliff then said something like, I'm sorry to cause any problems, but I really need help, and I need it from Harmony. After I explained to him that this was not possible, he turned and left. Dr. Breeson and I watched him as he left the clinic. I seem to recall Dr. Breeson giving me a shoulder shrug or some kind of sympathetic gesture. I think he then said, I guess that's the end of that. But the calls kept coming. Once again, I tried to suggest that he see another therapist, but he was very insistent that he see Harmony and only Harmony. She needs to see me was all he would say. He kept calling all the time for the past few weeks. I asked our phone company to fax a report of all the calls we got from him, and they were increasing almost every day. There was another incident that took place in the parking lot on the day of the murder. Someone in the parking lot reported a car coming by and a man screaming from the car. At this time, I was not comfortable driving home on my own. After calling the police to report the incident, I called a friend to pick me up. Okay. Plot twist, he secretly knew that somebody was going to murder her.
He was trying to prevent it.
And he was trying to prevent it. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to go ahead and show you this. It's the phone call log.
Jeez.
So you can just pause that and take a little look-see if you like. So on the day in question, at 5:42 p.m. And it was only like 4 seconds. 10 times just that one day.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're also going to go ahead and read the next testimony, or witness statement, who is Louise McCoy, which is his landlord. So the date that this statement was...
Oh, we have a picture of her.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Ooh.
Just saw Miss McCoy, his landlord.
And the date that this was filled out is May 11th, 1998. And Miss McCoy's date of birth was June 28th, 1917. And she listed her telephone number as being private. She also chose to write in cursive. All right. The first time I met Mr. Ratliff was when he came to arrange renting the apartment above me. I immediately noted that he seemed very uneasy, but I did not find any problem with his past that would have made him ineligible for rent. He didn't have much of a rental history, but at least we were not made aware of any priors or outstanding warrants for his arrest. I have noted in my diary that on April 26th, we had a problem with Mr. Ratliff. It was the first time of any kind of encounter with him. The nature of the problem was that the tenant, Mr. Ratliff, was exceeding an acceptable volume of noise in his unit. This violation is one that is taken very seriously, as I need my rest to stay healthy. Prior to this situation, we had never had a major problem with Mr. Ratliff. There were a few occasions of loud noises that I was able to hear, mainly due to being located directly under his apartment, but none of these occasions required action on my part. Oh, crud. There's a whole bag.
Oh, no.
There's that. But on this occasion, that took place on the 26th of April, he was making a great deal of noise, and it had become necessary for me to go up to his apartment to address this issue. His noise was mostly crying loudly and pounding on the wall. Leave the poor man alone.
Yeah, he's going through it.
On this occasion, Mr. Ratliff seemed reluctant to open the door, but once he did, he apologized for the noise and said it would never happen again. Later, after I exited his unit, I returned to give him a brochure regarding a local therapy clinic called Helping Hands. He seemed very responsive to the brochure. He seemed to be staring at one face in particular, and in it, I believe this face belonged to the victim. But at the time, I did not observed this as unusual. She is very pretty. Sorry, there's a bug flying around my face. On the night of the murder, May 8th, I observed him coming into the building a little before 9 p.m. I know it was then because it happened right at the end of the X-Files when the whistling comes on. Then, a little over an hour after that, I heard crying and screaming. It was during the first story on 2020, so it must have been sometime between 10 and 10:15. I couldn't make out any of the words, but it sounded really dreadful. I immediately went up to his unit and knocked on his door to make sure he was all right and asked him to quiet down. At this time, he did not answer the door, and I went back down to my apartment. Eventually, as the evening went on, the noises stopped. By the time Chance Edwards began the 11 o'clock news, things had become quiet again. That's when I heard about the murder. His car didn't leave where he parked it when he got home at 9. So according to this, he was home before the murders even took place.
It's weird.
Anybody else got a white car?
No. Or not that we know of right now.
So, I'm wondering if maybe he knew about, like, maybe she was in danger, like maybe he overheard something that he shouldn't, or maybe he was gonna get hired for something.
Yeah.
If he was taking counseling at the same place, I wonder if he overheard, like, a coworker saying something, and so he was trying to get hold of Harmony to say, hey, I overheard this. Mm-hmm. This is when it's going to take place.
But he didn't get there in time.
But he didn't get there in time.
Or something happened to where he couldn't get there.
And so, but I don't know. That's just a guess.
Yeah.
Now we're going to read Mr. Ratcliffe's interview. Do you want me to continue to be the detective?
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll be Rex.
I'll be Rex Radcliffe.
All right. So the date of this is 5/10/1998. So 2 days after at 8:47. I'm guessing a.m. since it's not military time. Yeah. Good morning. Please state your name for our records.
Rex Radcliffe. Why am I here?
Okay, Ratcliffe. Were you born on the 14th of March, 1973?
Are you going to tell me what's going on? Yeah, that's my birthday.
Ratcliffe, what do you do for a living?
I work at a gym. I mop and stuff, clean up. What do you want from me?
The woman who was murdered Friday night, Harmony Ashcroft, how did you know her?
I didn't.
Well, why would anybody think you did? I need a verbal response, Ratcliffe. The microphone can't record a shoulder shrug.
I don't know why I'm here.
Bad plan, Ratcliffe. Here's the thing. I know why you're a suspect, and you know why you're a suspect. You know who else knows why you're a suspect.
No.
The name Cheryl Pratt ring a bell?
No.
Well, she has a pretty good idea of who you are. She's the office manager at Helping Hands Mental Health Clinic. You're pretty familiar with that place, right?
Maybe.
According to Miss Pratt, you've been calling several times a day, demanding to see Harmony. Isn't that right?
I don't know.
What was that?
It doesn't matter now, does it?
Because you killed her.
No, because she's dead. I had to let her go.
Talk to me, Ratcliffe. Why did you need to call that place so many times? Do you need me to pull out the call log to remind you? Don't play stupid on me. Okay, here we go. April 27th, 5 calls. April 28th, 3 calls. April 29th, 3 more calls. And 3 more the next day. This is starting to sound familiar to you, yes?
I was calling because I needed help. She's a therapist. I needed help. Is that illegal? I just wanted to see her before...
Before she got married. You couldn't let another man have your precious Harmony, could you? Maybe it will jog your memory if we fast forward to the last few days before the murder. May 6th, 8 calls. May 7th, 9 calls.
So I called her office. Don't make me a killer.
It makes you a stalker, though, doesn't it? May 8th, the day of the murder. You called 10 times, Ratliff. You called 10 times, but they wouldn't pick up, would they?
I needed help. It was too late. I needed help. I needed help from Harmony. You wouldn't understand. It had to be her. It's just... You wouldn't understand.
Just say it, Ratliff. Say the words. Stop talking in riddles and just tell me you killed Harmony Ashcroft.
No! I didn't hurt anybody.
Say it. You left work and went to the clinic.
I needed help. I needed to stop the pain. Stop the voices.
Then you followed her to the restaurant.
No.
You waited in the parking lot outside Tooley's, didn't you? Just waiting for your chance. How many hours were you hiding there, Ratliff? What was going through your head?
I didn't do... That's not what happened.
When she walked out the back door, your moment arrived. Tell me, Ratliff, when her fiancé left her all alone back there, did you try to talk to her first? Or did you just attack?
No, it wasn't me.
Stop playing, Ratliff. We talked to Cheryl at the clinic. You're lying.
Stop. Stop yelling at me. It wasn't there. I wasn't there.
Just say the words. Tell us what really happened and we can get on with this. You can get a lawyer, put together an insanity plea, whatever you want. But this isn't helping you. All of this lying isn't helping you, Ratliff. You're not fooling me.
It wasn't me. I needed her help. She's a therapist. I needed her help.
I know you killed her, Ratliff. You can't hide behind all this psychotherapy bull. You could have found another therapist. We know you showed up at the clinic threatening her. Just tell me you did it. No more screaming. No more games. We'll get you help.
I tried to get help. I tried to make the voices stop. I saw Harmony in the brochure, and I knew she could make my mother's voice stop.
Ratliff, what happened that night? Talk to me.
I told you already. I was at home the whole time. My mother was murdered on May 8th, 1978. My stepdad hit her in the face with a baseball bat. I found her. Look it up, you'll see. Harmony looked just like my mother, and I just had to hear her voice.
You better hope it checks out. Is there anyone who can confirm you were at home?
No, I was alone. Miss McCoy, maybe. I don't know.
Who's Miss McCoy?
My landlady lives under me.
This isn't the time for guessing, Ratliff. Will your landlady confirm that you were at home all evening long, yes or no?
I think so. I don't know. Don't know how good her memory is. She's old.
You better hope she can. Next time I bring you back here, I'm not gonna be so nice.
And scene.
Well, at least now we know why he was so enamored with her.
Yeah.
Made him think of his mom. So I can understand that from a psychological standpoint as well. As a child, he did not witness a brutal crime, but he did stumble upon the aftermath of it. And not only was it his mother, but his father was the one that committed it. It is a lot to process and handle, especially at a young age.
Yeah, it happened the same.
And that is ironic.
Yeah.
So it also makes sense why he was so desperate to speak to her prior to the date of May 8th as well. I don't think he's the one who did it, and if he is, then applauds for you, sir, because you did a great job convincing us. On to the next one. Andy Allen. I don't know why I said his.
Andy Allen.
There's just something about this guy I don't like already, and I don't know what it is.
He's like staring off in the distance.
He's like not making any kind of eye contact.
Making me uneasy.
And they say that that's a tale of guilt when you don't make eye contact. So his name is Andrew James Allen. His marital status is single. Date of birth, 4/27/1970, so he is 28, male, Caucasian, 5'11", weighs 263 pounds. His hair is listed as being black, I guess so, with a little salt and pepper in there. His eyes are brown, shoe size is 12. Ooh, look at that, his dominant hand is right. And he was, his birthplace is Riverdale. Identifying markings, none. Prior military experience, none. Martial arts combat experience, none. No firearms, no prior arrests, no prior felonies, no outstanding warrants, and it is currently not under investigation. He works at Wagner and Bennington, and he has been a employee there for 2 years, and his occupation is paralegal. His car is a 92 Hyundai Sonata gray, and he's missing a letter in his license plate.
You said his car it's gray?
Yes, it's a gray Hyundai.
That looks like a missing number right there, doesn't it?
644435, and that is his license
checks
plate.
Out.
Ooh, unless he was invited. But we would like to state for the record that at this moment in time, on this man right here, he, or at least his vehicle, is in the proximity of where the murder took place on the night it took place. And the car was there at 9:38 p.m., 8 minutes after our beloved Harmony was murdered.
And his statement is pretty interesting.
All right, so let's see what this interesting statement is. I was at home. Lies. I was at home fixing the brakes on my car all evening. More lies. I went to bed around 11 p.m., but at 2 a.m. I received a phone call from Deborah Ashcroft, Harmony's mother, and she explained to me that Harmony was murdered at the party. My neighbor, Jason, can confirm that I was fixing my car when the crime happened.
Okay.
Why is Jason lying for you?
Why is Jason lying?
We already know that this man is lying. There's no way around it unless this is not his car or unless somebody stole his car for some reason. But his car shouldn't be there if he's working on it. So unless somebody license plate, although I'm pretty sure all license plates have to have an alphabetical letter in it, but whatever. Anyways, corroborator, Jason Griggs, neighbor, don't know the phone number, gave address, and borrowed tools is the note next to it. Bring out the map. There's no way, because the bridge was out up until, so basically, here's the house. The house, here's the murder, and supposedly this bridge was out. We've identified that his car is most certainly within the vicinity. We have confirmed that his statement is
false to a certain extent.
This man is a liar, pants on fire to some degree.
He's not even looking at the camera.
And I said that was an admission of guilt or something. So we'll just leave you with that to kind of ponder on and think about for a little bit. So, yeah. Until next time. See you next time. Bye. Keep all the stuff in order and together. Ooh, and we have the witness statement form. We're recording for the YouTube channel. Could have done better.